Imagine waking up tomorrow with complete control over every word you speak, every emotion you feel, every dollar you spend, and every thought that enters your mind. It sounds impossible, right? But over 2,000 years ago, there was a man who believed this was not only possible, he believed it was the only way to live a truly free life. His name was Epictetus, and he was born a slave. Let that sink in for a moment. He had no control over his body, no freedom of movement, no say in his circumstances. He was owned by another human being. And yet, somehow, this man discovered something so powerful that it transformed him from a physical slave into one of the greatest teachers of mental and emotional freedom in history. His message was simple but profound. No one can hurt you without your permission. At first, that might sound harsh, especially if you are going through real pain right now. But what Epictetus meant was this: we cannot always control what happens to us, but we can always control how we respond. And inside that response lives our true power. Today, most of us are not physically enslaved, but many of us are trapped in a different way. Trapped by uncontrolled words. Trapped by emotional reactions. Trapped by spending habits. Trapped by racing thoughts filled with fear, doubt, and worry. Think about it. We say things we regret. We let a bad mood ruin an entire day. We spend money we do not have on things we do not need. And we allow our minds to spiral late at night when everything gets quiet. But what if I told you that the same wisdom that freed a Roman slave could also free you? What if the very areas where you feel most out of control, your mouth, your mood, your money, and your mind, could become your greatest strengths? The ancient Stoics understood something we have largely forgotten. Real wealth is not measured in dollars. It is measured in self-control. Real power is not about controlling other people. It is about mastering yourself. And true freedom is not having endless choices. It is making the right choices consistently, every single day. Life gives you opportunities to practice this all the time. Someone cuts you off in traffic. That is your chance to control your mouth and your mood. You feel tempted to buy something you do not need. That is your moment to take control of your money. Your mind starts spinning with fear or self-doubt. That is your opportunity to reclaim your thoughts. And here is the beautiful part about Stoic wisdom. It does not expect perfection. Even Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the Roman Empire, struggled with these same things. In his private journal, he reminded himself daily, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is not about becoming emotionless. It is about becoming so grounded in who you are that external chaos cannot shake you. When you control your mouth, you speak with intention, not impulse. When you control your mood, you choose your emotional state instead of being its victim. When you manage your money, it becomes a tool for peace, not a source of stress. And when you master your mind, you become the author of your thoughts, not their prisoner. Here on Stoicism Breath, we focus on these 4 pillars of personal power because they change everything. In the next few minutes, you are going to gain insight into ancient wisdom that is more relevant today than ever before. And more importantly, you will walk away with practical tools you can start using immediately in your own life. But here is the truth. This only works if you commit. Each step builds on the one before it. So do not rush ahead. Stay with me through every part, because this journey is not about learning something new. It is about remembering who you already are. I promise this can change your life. If you are ready to take back control, this is where your journey truly begins. Here on Stoicism Breath, we believe real power starts within you. Not someday. Not when life gets easier. Right now. Because self-mastery is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming intentional. Today, we begin with the first pillar. Master your mouth, the gateway to wisdom. There is an old saying that the tongue is a small thing, but it can cause enormous damage. Yet what most people do not realize is this. Your mouth is not only shaping your relationships with others, it is shaping your relationship with yourself. Every word you speak is either building the person you are becoming or slowly tearing that person down. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers of ancient Rome, spent years observing how speech influenced power, trust, and connection. He watched careers rise and fall because of a single sentence. He saw friendships collapse through careless words, and alliances form through thoughtful communication. But his most important lesson did not come from watching others. It came from watching himself. He wrote that every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. And nowhere is this more true than with your words. Every time you speak, you are ending one version of yourself and beginning another. So here is a question worth sitting with. Are your words helping you become someone you respect? Think about the last time you said something in anger that you immediately regretted. In that moment, you felt the power of uncontrolled speech. Your words escaped before your wisdom could catch them. Now imagine what would happen if you reclaimed that power. What if every word you spoke was chosen, not just released? The Stoics practiced something simple yet profound. The pause before speaking, especially in emotional moments. Before responding, they asked themselves 3 questions. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it kind? If the answer to any of these was no, they chose silence. But mastering your mouth is not only about holding back negative words. It is also about intentionally using positive ones. When you genuinely compliment someone, you are not just making their day better. You are training your brain to notice what is good in the world. When you speak encouragement, you are teaching your mind to look for possibility instead of problems. Marcus Aurelius once wrote that you should be like a rocky headland against which waves constantly crash. The rock stands firm, and around it, the raging waters eventually settle. Your controlled speech can become that rock for others. In a world full of reactive communication, your thoughtful words can be a source of calm and strength. Here is a simple practice that can transform your relationship starting today. For the next 7 days, before you speak in any emotionally charged situation, take 3 slow breaths. On the first breath, ask yourself what you are feeling. On the second breath, ask what the other person might be feeling. On the third breath, ask what words would serve the highest good for everyone involved. This small pause creates space for wisdom to enter. And something amazing happens when you begin mastering your mouth. People respond to you differently. They listen more closely. They trust you more deeply. They seek your guidance more often. Not because you are trying to impress them, but because you have become someone worth listening to. Yet the most powerful transformation happens inside you. Every time you keep a promise you made out loud, you build self-trust. Every time you speak kindly to yourself, you reshape your self-image. Every time you refuse to gossip or complain, you protect your mental energy. Your words do not just express your thoughts. They shape them. And when you consistently choose words of gratitude, clarity, and strength, your mind begins to follow those same patterns. Master your mouth. Because this is where self-mastery truly begins. Here is your rewritten YouTube script section in natural US English, continuous storytelling style, no side talk, ready for AI voice, including your channel name Stoicism Breath. Focus your mental energy on what you can control. Remember this. Your words do not just communicate your thoughts. They shape them. When you consistently speak words of possibility, gratitude, and wisdom, your mind slowly begins to think in those same patterns. Over time, you become what you repeatedly say. Your mouth is the gateway between your inner world and the outer world. Master this gateway, and you master the flow of energy in both directions. Every sentence you speak either strengthens you or weakens you. That is why at Stoicism Breath, we remind ourselves daily, I speak with power, not impulse. Now let us move to the second principle. Master your mood. Imagine waking up every morning and letting someone else decide the weather inside your mind. Some days they choose stormy anger. Other days foggy sadness. And occasionally, if you are lucky, sunny happiness. This is exactly how most people live emotionally. They hand over control to external circumstances. A bad email. A careless comment. A delayed message. And suddenly their entire day collapses. But here is what changed everything for me, and what the Stoics discovered more than 2,000 years ago. You are not the victim of your emotions. You are their creator. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychologist, lived through unimaginable suffering inside Nazi concentration camps. Yet even there, he made a discovery that echoes ancient Stoic wisdom. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose. And in that choice lives our growth and our freedom. Pause for a moment and feel that space right now. It exists between every trigger and every emotional reaction. Sometimes it lasts only a split second, but that split second holds your entire future. The Stoics call this the discipline of desire. It does not mean wanting less. It means wanting what you already have, accepting what you cannot change, and working diligently on what you can. When you master this, your mood becomes like a well-tuned instrument that you can play instead of a wild storm that plays you. Here is something most people never realize. Your emotions are not facts. They are interpretations. Someone does not text you back. The situation itself is neutral. But your mind instantly creates a story. They are ignoring me. They are mad at me. They do not care. But what if you told a different story? Maybe they are busy. Maybe their phone died. Maybe they are planning something special for you. Marcus Aurelius practiced this every single morning. He reminded himself that the day would bring challenges, difficult people, and unexpected events. But instead of fearing them, He saw them as opportunities to train emotional mastery. He famously wrote that you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Try this simple exercise right now. Think of something that has been bothering you lately. Ask yourself, what story am I telling about this situation? Then ask, what is another way I could interpret it? Finally, ask, which interpretation serves my highest good? This is where the magic happens. You realize that you have been the author of your emotional experience all along. You just did not know you were writing the story. But mastering your mood is not about pretending everything is fine. It is not toxic positivity. It is choosing responses that empower you instead of draining you. When you feel anger, instead of suppressing it or exploding, you can turn it into fuel for positive change. When you feel sadness, instead of drowning in it, you can let it reconnect you with your humanity and deepen your compassion for others. The Stoics practiced something called evening reflection. Every night, they reviewed their day and asked themselves, what emotions did I experience today? Which ones served me? Which ones controlled me? Do that consistently, and your emotional life begins to transform. Because when you control your words and you master your mood, you stop reacting to life. You start leading it. Subscribe to Stoicism Breath for more timeless wisdom and practical tools to build inner strength every day. Hashtags. Hashtag Stoicism Breath. Hashtag Focus on Yourself. Hashtag Stoic Philosophy. Hashtag Mental Strength. Hashtag Self-Mastery.